What's up, card fighters? Ryan here from Vanguard Central, bringing you an updated 7Cs deck profile with the new 16 card GZone.
Stand up, Vanguard!
Starting with our grade 3s, we are running 4 copies of Lord of the 7 Seas Night Mist. Night Mist is the break ride for the deck. He's going to be our main boss as well, since he is the 7 Seas in his name. And so basically there's a lot of good plays you can play around with this break ride, where you can stay low damage and depend on your strides, and then go ahead and go into the late game. You can pull off a either superior break ride play or just break ride from your hand, and you get 2 free units from your drop zone. They both get plus 5k. You can go ahead and incorporate that into your stride combos also. So you get some pretty big hitters for basically for free if you can break ride. And our backup boss is going to be 3 copies of 7 Seas Sage Plegaton. Plegaton is kind of like it's also the main boss. I like riding him first sometimes, depending on the setup in my drop zone. But it's great because his on-play skill lets you superior call any card from the drop zone, and it does die at the end of the turn. But it's still really great because you get some nice pluses. You can either call like a Banshee or a Cutlass that died, or even pick up a an extra hitter. So anything that's pretty much good. He also has a superior ride skill from the drop zone, which is neat, helps you with those superior break ride plays. Moving on to our grade 2s, we are running 4 copies of Ruin Shade. Ruin Shade is going to be there to help us mill as fast as possible and as early as possible, and it is an 11k hitter, so it does swing its Vanguard by itself. And we got 3 copies of Switch Doctor of the Rotten Sea Negrook. I felt like 3 was okay. I really love running 4 though, because I can also play it from hand. But the fact that playing 3 is still a good number, because Ruin Shade is going to help us mill it. Hopefully we get it early, and if not, you can go ahead and swing in Obadiah and get it in there for yourself. So 2 is not a bad number, or 3 is not a bad number. I do like to run 4, but right now the space is kind of tight, so I'd rather go 3. We got 2 copies of Skeleton Cannoneer. Skeleton Cannoneer is great for those pinpoint retires, as well as drawing and getting some nice hand advantage off of it. It's a really cheap cost as well. It just has to be placed on rearguard from the drop zone. For a CB1, you can pop one of their units and then plus yourself 1 in hand, so that's always great. We got 2 copies of 7 Seas Master Swordsman Slash Shade. Slash Shade's there for the multi-attacks and also gets you some permanent units on the board if you're playing against a matchup like Diablo. I feel like this card's great all around. I want to bump it up to 3, but space is a little tight, so unfortunately I can only run it at 2, but it's still all around a great card. And then I got that 1 tech copy of Earth Elemental Poker for the Link Joker matchup. It's basically there because we now have G Guardians installed, and so we can go ahead and have those Cray Elementals for free face up, and then we can get the the unlock skills off if you have that kind of matchup. Moving on to our grade 1s, we are running 4 copies of Waterspout Jin, the Unflipping Perfect card. This is a pretty counterboss heavy deck. What's great about it though is that you can stay at a very low damage and use a lot to work with only 1 counterblast. So that's great, and that's always thanks to the 7 Seas Stride Night Mist. So 4 perfect cards, G's, just to get those unflips. And next we got 4 copies of Tommy the Ghosty Brothers, basically 4 stride fodders because it's a stride based deck. You want to stride as much as possible. And then 3 copies of Dancing Cutlass, not 4 this time. I did want to run 4, but unfortunately due to space, gotta cut it down to 3. But it's still a great number because you do get it early enough, and then if not, you can always recall it later and get your pluses. And then we got 2 copies of 7 Seas Helmsman Nightcrow. Nightcrow's there just for getting permanent units on the board as well as fixing columns. So if you go ahead and use a Cutlass early, you can go ahead and retire it later when you have a 7 Seas Vanguard and get a nice 7k booster behind, say, a Cannoneer or any of your specific 9Ks to make a better number. And for our triggers, we are running 12 crit because it's a very aggressive deck. You want to be able to punch them right in the face with especially your big rear numbers as well as your Vanguard swings. 4 of them being Rough Seas Banshee, just for those free pluses. It's great if you can mill them early enough or guard with it early and then use like a card like Plegaton that gets a free superior call when it's on place on Vanguard. You can go ahead and throw in the soul and draw another card. So you get some nice pluses. And then 4 heals, of course, because we do want a G-Guard. And for our starter, we are going to be running Peter the Ghosty, but as well as Grenache we're running in the deck. I do love running Peter as well because Peter enables us to get the Cutlass first turn. So it's very quick to play, or not turn 1. Turn 1, turn 2, basically, Cutlass. And the ability to not actually minus yourself and also feel your drop zone pretty fast is always great. So Peter's all around an amazing starter. We don't run Grenache as a starter because of the ability Peter has, but basically we run Grenache in the deck because we can still have a chance to mill it or even draw into it and hollow it from our hand so we can get the unflip 2s, because games are going to go a little bit longer now thanks to the introduction of G Guardians. So I feel like Grenache is pretty good in the deck where you can go ahead and get some free unflips. Moving on to our 16 GZone, we are running 4 copies of Love by the 7 Seas Night Mist. Night Mist we can run at 4, usually we always do anyways, but the fact of being 16 gives us a lot more space. So basically it's one of the cheapest tries for one of the amazing skills where you have the ability to call 2 units from the drop zone for a mere counterblast 1. And next we got 4 copies of Night Rose. Night Rose is kind of there for a nice multi-attack stage kind of thing. What's great also is that it does get permanent units. So if you have a matchup against Diablo, for example, you can go ahead and get a permanent board. And next we got 2 copies of Obadiah. Obadiah is there just to go ahead and grab the cards that we need. I'm running 2 just because sometimes you want to deck thin a little late, just so you can get some more trigger hits on your drive checks. But usually I like to set up the drop zone early if you don't get it early enough with the Ruined Shade. But other than that, Obadiah is great. Sometimes I don't like going into it because I feel like I'm depending on it too much, when I rather go and mill it from Ruined Shade or ride the key cards and then use Cutlass to Soul Blossom out so I can use them for later. But anyways, Obadiah is good. We got 1 copy of Pirate King of the Abyss Blue Heart. Blue Heart's there for like the weird matchups like Mega Colony, where you can basically all your stunned units, you can counterblast 1 and reset your board with new units from the drop zone. And they are permanent, so that's also good. And then we're running 1 copy of Seabreeze. Seabreeze is there for, to stop the grade 2 game most especially, as well as it's kind of like a G-break deck since you are running Negarooks and Cannoneers. And so Seabreeze is going to help us out a bit and get us those stride plays that we want. And for our G Guardians, we are running 2 copies of Eclipse Dragon Hulk Deep Corpse Dragon. It's going to be the Grand Blue G Guardian, and basically the skills, it comes in very handy. If you didn't get a chance to mill it up early, then you can go ahead and use this G Guardian and mill 2 to get an extra 5k shield. So it is a 20k Guardian, and it's always neat. We are running 1 copy of Dark Element Dismal. You're going to have some odd matchups. Sometimes you have a permanent unit in the front row, so you can go ahead and stop those Laurel plays and also the cross decks. And if not, you can always use it as a generic 15k guard. And then we're all running 1 Metal Element Screw just for those guard restrict decks, as well as fueling cards that you want to put in the drop zone without just minusing yourself. So you can go ahead and choose whatever card you want to throw in the drop zone into an extra 10k shield. So that's always neat. Thanks for watching, guys. That was our updated 7 Seas deck profile. Let us know what you think down below. Like our videos, comment if you guys have any questions about the deck or if you want to see some more, and subscribe for more content. Vanguard Central out.